Good afternoon. Welcome to the first episode of Indeed. It's an independent podcast about independent wrestling hosted by me. I am Mike Hamley. Go by Mr. Purple TV on Twitter. Do some writing here at Bodyslam. Host some post shows. And I decided, I really want to talk about all the cool shit that's going on in independent wrestling lately. There's just packed weekends of shows every weekend, it seems now. And, besides like the odd one or two shows that really pop off, you just don't see a lot of places covering it or talking about it. And I'd like to start to change that and talk about this more regularly. So, that's why we started the show. What I'm going to do here is basically every week, I'm going to pick one featured show, something that, perhaps was a particularly loaded card or something that really stood out to me, or, really just anything for a number of reasons that I feel like particularly featuring. I'm going to go in, I'm going to do a deep dive on that show, talk about the promotion, talk about the company, their history, go in on every match. And then also once I'm done with that, we're going to run through some other cards that happened this week. I watched like 13 shows. I took solid notes for as many of them as I could. I've got 10 that I'm covering here if we are counting the featured show in there as well. So yeah, we really gotta rip through it here today. And in order to do that, where'd you go? There'd you go. We have production. Oh yeah, we've got slides. So the first thing we're going to talk about today is C4 Wrestling, Time and Tide. Now, the show happened on Friday, April 22nd. So technically, my view week for the show is going to be from basically Tuesday to Monday. So anything that happened starting last Tuesday to yesterday, if I can squeeze it in, under the gun, then I'm going to include it in the show today. But this one obviously happened 2 Fridays ago, but it did not stream. It actually broadcast live last Tuesday, or not. Well, the replay debuted and premiered on IWTV last Tuesday. So unless you were, one of the couple hundred people that actually were lucky enough to be in the building in Ottawa, you didn't see this one until last week. That's why it's getting included today. And the reason it got chosen as our featured show is because I'm a good Canadian boy. I love independent wrestling. I hear all about GCW, Beyond Wrestling, Black Label Pro, all these amazing indies that are in the United States. Well, C4 Wrestling is Canada's home of independent wrestling, in my opinion. That, everyone has their own, and you're welcome to it. For me, just the cards here, the people who have come through here. C4 is an indie promotion. They're based in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. C4 stands for Capital City Championship Combat. And they warm my maple heart. They started in 2007. They're an absolute diamond in the rough. If you go back through the past history of cards they've had, you'll see a who's who of everyone who's ever been big in independent wrestling over the last 15 years now. They've been a launching point for some of Canada's best talent in the last 15 years. Kevin Steen, Eva Luno, Stu Grayson, who we'll maybe get to that later. Josh Alexander, Ethan Page, Speedball Mike Bailey, the list goes on. They have amazing talent from the US coming up all the time. Epic, just epic matches. And some of them you just haven't really seen. And I'd like to change that. So we're going to start today with this show. Now, Canada, we went into super duper duper lockdown mode for the majority of the pandemic. C4 though, they did hold strong, and as soon as it was safe and legal to have shows again, they started right back up, and they've been doing things in a very commendably safe fashion. I'm looking to go out and see them this summer. Literally like trying to plan a trip out to Ottawa this week as soon as I can find out when they have shows in like in the early part of summer. And like, you know, with things looking better, COVID restriction wise in Canada and the border being opened up and travel, you know, for US wrestlers coming up here, foreign wrestlers coming into Canada, like the shows are just getting better and better and better. And we'll get to what's coming up for them later. For now, I want to dive in on this card. So the first match I'm going to open up with was we're going through the card. So the opening match was Evil Uno defeating Cecil Nix. Evil Uno was filling in for Jody Threat, who unfortunately had a car accident on the way to the show, is what I believe the gist of what we were told on commentary was. But she's okay. It's good to hear she was okay, and she had some good matches over the weekend as well. So just a travel headache, unfortunately. But Evil Uno filling in. This is his home promotion. Him and Stu both came up through C4 and, made their name in the independent scene through the starts, through the beginnings they got at C4. Nix himself is also a veteran of the Canadian independent scene. He's big, strong dude, but very sneaky agility and athletic ability to him for a larger fellow. They had a really, really entertaining match. You can see here, there was a nice Jody Threat painted door that Evil Uno was kind enough to suplex Mr. Nix through. They put together a really good match with each other. They've been traveling together for a long time. They've trained together, from my understanding. So obviously the level of familiarity between the two was certainly more than enough for them to just, be a perfect way to open the show. Excellent wrestling match. Honestly, I highly recommend just watching the whole show, but that one, if you're skimming through for matches, definitely. And then we're going to move on to the next match. We had Kobe Durst and Holden Albright defeating Lufisto and Matthew St. Jacques. This was a crazy match. If you're getting Lufisto in a match that, probably some foreign objects, definitely, you're definitely going to see some hard hitting, power offense, a lot of striking. Lufisto, legend, Hall of Famer, Independent Wrestling Hall of Fame inductee this year. Matthew St. Jacques also is a 15-year veteran. St. Jacques, Matthew St. Jacques has the same combined ring experience of Holden Albright and Kobe Durst, which were their opponents here. He's also a three-time C4 tag team champion in Tabernacle de Team with Thomas Dubois. So they've held those belts 3 times, although they're now being held by Violence is Forever, Dominic Garrini and Kevin Koo. I love them. This match, though, good. Very brawling style matchup. A more relaxed rule set as far as what the referee is willing to allow. This would be the finish of the match here. This lovely pile driver through 2 doors. There, you can't see. There's 2 doors there. And then also Holden Albright golf swinging a chair into Lufisto's melon. And that is where he would have covered her for the pin. It was a fun match. They brawled all over the place. Durst is also a name that's been around for getting close to a decade. And he's turning up in a lot more places now as well. He did... I can't remember what other show he was on this weekend, but he's definitely down further in the notes. It was a really good match. Very fun time. I'm not overly familiar with C4, like their chronological history of shows, but do go and find yourself some Tabernacle team matches. They're very fun. The next match that we're going to hop into here, third match on the card, Junior Benito versus Anthony Green. We had Junior Benito getting the victory here over the alternative AG. AG, what what can what can you say bad about Anthony Green? The minute his music hits, everyone lights up in the room. They're singing along, they're dancing. He gets in the ring and he has excellent fucking matches. 3 to 4 days a week, week after week. He's one of the unfortunate releases from WWE last summer, but really that's like he's it's the independent wrestling world's gain to to have these kind of talents become available again. Part of the reason why the scene is so hot is because of guys like Anthony Green getting released. We don't want anyone to ever lose their job. That sucks. But my God, the injection of talent to all these shows because of these releases has just independent wrestling is arguably as hot now as it's ever been. AG's had a great run since being released. He's been showing up everywhere. We've seen him even, make a couple of appearances in AEW. Junior Benito, his opponent, a little less familiar. I had a really hard time looking up Junior Benito's match history because he doesn't have a cage match profile, but he is a young local. He's very very driven, extremely positive feedback on all of his matches that I was able to look up any kind of documenting or reporting on. The whole building was right behind him, which obviously he's the hometown kid. So Anthony Green is coming up here to put a beating on a local up and comer, and everyone is just cheering for their guy. It was a really, really good match. It was a very standard story in terms of a wrestling match. You have a savvy vet that's using his experience and his IQ to outwit a young athletic rookie, and you have a young athletic rookie who's just trying to prove himself against one of the top names in the industry. But the reason that this story works so well is because when you do it right, you get a match like this. Benito came out hot and he got shut down. AG took over for a bit, and Benito mounted a little bit of a comeback. Had it was looking hopeful for him for a few minutes there. AG took control, but then he started getting cocky. He's showboating around, doing a little showboating with his crossbody here. Could have just we didn't need to do that. He was doing some posing and some taunting, building his special meter up in the middle of the ring. And, he ended up paying for it. Benito launched himself. That black curtain there is the entrance. So, he made it halfway back to his chair. He was ready for a shower already. Benito ended up, coming back. He threw everything he had at AG. AG's kicking out, all of Benito's signature moves. And then, AG takes over. He's got him pinned, and then he pulls him out of the pin to lock him in a submission because he's just being such an arrogant veteran. And then Benito escapes it, hits his big boy splash. Junior gets the 1, 2, 3. And it's really easy to see why Junior's so over here. I would like to see him do some traveling down through, some of the Northeast of the United States and get some matches against some of the, guys there. Alternatively, you indie guys that are in the Northeast or anywhere else in the US, you want to have a nice, fast-paced 15-minute banger, come up to C4 and wrestle Junior Benito. Next match we're going to move into, we had Killian Murphy, Pretty Ricky Wildy, and Puff. Puff is God. Defeating Zach Patterson, Carl Jepsen, and Hayden Backlund. This was something I really, really liked when I was watching this show. Something I really, really liked watching the show was the way that the card was laid out. You had Eva Luno and Sissel Nix, very familiar faces to the C4 crowd there. Everyone knows them. They're coming in the ring. Very, digestible match with familiar faces. Same tag match, crazy, doors, chairs, brawling all over the place, kind of whipping everyone up into kind of upping the intensity in the room a bit. And then you have AG and Junior Benito go out there and have just a rager. So what do? You cool everyone off with one of the funnest 6-man tag matches. Killian Murphy and Ricky Wilde and Puff win here. Pretty Ricky Wilde, very, very hilarious and entertaining. Not too familiar with him, but that's going to change. I've seen that he does some wrestling actually around my neck of the woods here, so going to try to catch him at some of my local shows. Obviously, Puff radiates just fun and good vibes in general. Also, very sick dance moves. It was just a really fun trios match. Changed up the energy in the rooms. There was a very competitive match between AG and Junior Benito beforehand. So these guys kind of took that energy, kept the room alive, kept things energetic and exciting, but kind of shifted it in a more fun-loving and upbeat, kind of freewheeling direction. Patterson really, really, really stood out to me here. You can see this man powerbomb Puff. If I was, hey, there we go. I'll figure it out one day, everybody. It's only episode 1. Give me a break. But yeah, look at this man. Come on. That's Puff. That's Puff. I'm not going to be surprised the day I see Zach Patterson on my TV. He definitely looks the part. He really, really wrestles the part. He works the crowd well. It was a good fun match. It was a good fun match. Then the next we're moving on to, we had James Stone defeating McCray Martin. This was a grudge match. So unfortunately, like I said, I haven't really watched C4's catalog in like chronological order. I just look at cards and go, oh shit, that looks crazy. Oh shit, that looks crazy. And that's kind of how I've been watching things. So any like storyline that's going on between these two guys, unfortunately, I'm not really like super zoned in on the details of. So Stone's promo at the beginning before the match was kind of lost on me, but he came out and was basically doing, the I've been here forever in C4. I helped build this place. I did, I deserve more respect. That kind of vibe. But yeah, when the match kicked off, like, McCray Martin didn't even get an entrance. He just ran, he just ran from the back and started beating on Stone. So that's how the match started off. The animosity between the two was, it was palpable. They were really laying into each other. Everything was extra violent looking. I did do a little digging as well after the match, so found out that Stone trained McCray and then later turned on him. And the commentary throughout the match also, to their credit, did a really good job of providing more context to the history of their feud and explaining that like there was a run-in that led to the finish of the match. Here, let's get a clip of it while we're at it. Where's my clip from the match? Son of a bitch. Okay. There we go. See? We had our first fumble. I missed a clip. I had a clip of McCray Tope Suicida. They ended up in like the third row. Very, very nice. I saw him tweeting about apparently one of the dives he did to the outside. They landed on a chair, and he landed on a chair leg and, got the pokey end in the butt. So hope he's okay. That sounds like a horrible, horrible time. Always something when you see people diving multiple times in like the third, fourth row, it's bound to happen. But no, like I was saying though, the commentary did a really good job of providing more context to the history of them. And then there was a run-in, which ultimately led to the finish of the match, which was James Stone winning. And they did also provide some more insight there, which I was happy to get. The understanding the context in a grudge match like this, if you've never tuned into the feud, and its history is, it's a little tricky to get emotionally invested in it. So the commentary doing such a good job of filling that in was, it was appreciated and a credit to them. I'm interested in finding out where it goes to, because they did have a really good match out of it. So, I'm assuming they're probably not done. It didn't seem that way. And then, yeah, then we move into, there was a four-way, fatal four-way, scramble, whatever you want to call it. I call them fun. I love multi-man matches. They're usually one of my favorite parts of most cards. They end up, 9 times out of 10 having just some mind-blowing multi-man shit happen in them. This was no exception. You can see here in the GIF, little up and over, roll through do-si-do. There was a lot of really good sequences in this match. We had Myung Jae Lee defeating Gabriel Fuerza, Eel O'Neill, and Alex Silva. Myung Jae Lee also has a very fun match coming up at their next show. We'll get into that. There was, I can't remember who was responsible for it. There's a very nice running Spanish fly in here. There was also a very nice roll through that turned into a crab, like a single leg crab that just kind of gave me, did a little bit of people's eyebrow on it because caught me off guard. This was, it was a really, really smart move again with the run sheet. We had a really intense and heated grudge match. The result of the grudge match left the crowd super hot. And, so you want to bring the energy back to like a happy place and an upbeat place, and kind of get them ready for what's coming up next. So you give them 4 acrobatic dudes going 100 kilometers an hour. And we use kilometers here because we're Canadian. And the reason the reason you want to get the crowd back into it and, more of a happy, excited place is because next up we had Jonathan Gresham defeating Kevin Blackwood in a match of the year candidate for me. This was fucking double chef's kiss. I don't want that to be like the standard rating system around here of like chef's kiss or like double chef's kiss, like that, but I don't know, maybe leave a comment, let me know. Oh my God. Like, I've watched this match 3 times. The crowd was holy shit chanting on Gresham's entrance, which, one, Jonathan Gresham, one of the best wrestlers in the world. X out of 10 maple leaves. Oh, a maple leaf rating system. Thank you, Joe. Let me tell you about my best friend. Great idea. Yeah, like the crowd was wholly shitting for Gresham on his entrance, which again, like, 1, it's Jonathan Gresham, one of the best wrestlers on the fucking planet. 2, and again, props to the commentary team. There is a great deal of respect around Ring of Honor. 1, within C4 Wrestling themselves. 2, as I've learned more and more as a Canadian wrestling fan, we had a lot of OGs, like a lot of OG Ring of Honor fans up here. So that belt alone was probably responsible for half of that holy shit chant. Just the original ROH title being in St. Anthony's. Like, immense amount of respect for Gresham and Ring of Honor in the building. Kevin Blackwood damn well earned everyone's respect in that building by the end of this match if he didn't have it as well. The story of the match would be an endurance race. Like, the way they started it off with just striking back and forth, like kick, chop, kick, chop, kick, chop, was not what I was expecting, because Blackwood is, he's very technically sound, and Gresham is like master technician, but neither one could actually like execute a move on the other. So they just resorted to these lengthy exchanges of beating the shit out of each other with chops and kicks over and over and over. And then one guy would go for a move. And then at one point, I can't remember if it was Gresham attempting the suplex or Blackwood. One of them went for a German. And then it was just standing switch back and forth like 4 or 5 times. Neither of them could get the suplex off, and they just said, fuck it, and went right back to chop, kick, chop, kick, chop, kick, chop, kick. It was just violent, so violent. Beautiful, though. And then Blackwood finally catches Gresham with the DVD And how hard he had to work to get that fucking driver off was monumental. Like, we're several minutes into the match, and this is probably the most impactful wrestling move that's not, like, I'm not saying the chops and kicks weren't, but like, this was the first time one of them actually was able to like perform a move on the other guy. But then Gresham persisted, and they end up right back on their feet and just right back into chop kick, chop kick, chop kick. And like, every move between the striking exchanges meant so much because of the amount of work that they had to put into getting each other to that point. So the match finishes with Gresham deadlift German suplexing. Here, I got some more clips. I got to get better on this run through the clips while I talk thing. Loved this though, the little fake out. Boom. But yeah, with the finish of the match, we had Gresham getting Blackwood up for a deadlift German suplex. He kicked out of the first one, so he just grabs him by the waist and just the whole way up deadlifted him off the ground, right back over his head for a bridge, and pinned him with a bridge. And by the end of it, you could tell they spent every last ounce of energy out of each other. It was glorious to watch. Gresham got on the mic at the end of the match. He spoke very, very highly of C4, referring to it as his home in Canada. I'm of the belief that anyone that you put in front of him, you're going to get a good match. Anyone you can put in front of him at C4, you're going to get a good match, whether it be another American talent like Kevin Blackwood, any of our homegrown folks up here. But I'm really hoping he comes back up here. He sounds very enthusiastic about coming to C4, so I don't doubt that Gresham's going to be back there at some point. And also, like, seeing him and Blackwood up here wrestling in this match, it like really kind of like, oh man, like it made me happy because I was like, oh shit, these guys are in Canada. Like, the border's open. Life is kind of, I wouldn't say back to normal, but like the closest it's been in 2 years. And this was like a really, really cool way to make me feel that. I want to talk about Kevin Blackwood for a minute too, because I think he's a fucking diamond just waiting to be mined. He's one of the most underrated talents in all of independent wrestling right now. He gets like comparisons drawn to a bunch of other guys for some reason, and I think it's like you're doing a disservice to yourself for not watching Kevin Blackwood matches before saying stupid shit like that. Like, watch his matches. This one with Gresham, fucking him and Speedball destroyed the Roxy in LA. In Los Angeles, Ukrainian Cultural Center, GCW, he like impromptu match wrestled Grim Reaper. Fucking banger. But like his match, he had Minoru Suzuki at Black Label Pro. He's had good matches with like Davey Richards, Tony Deppen, Biff Busick. Like, just like watch more Kevin Blackwood matches. If you see him on a card, that's going to be a good match. Watch it. And we're going to move on to the next one. So the next match, we had a women's triple threat. Janai Kai defeating Alexia Nicole, defeating Ava Everett. All three of these wrestlers fucking killed it. This was an amazing match. Amazing match. Like, again, I love multi-person matches. So we have Alexia Nicole, almost 10 years in pro wrestling now, all over the North American independent scene. Had a little stint in Impact as well. She also wrestled, if you watch the Canadian Ring of Honor and New Japan crossover show, she was in one of the tag matches on there, I believe. Now we have Ava Everett in this match. She's, she's a little newer. She's 4 years in, but she's got a promising career. She was recently over in Germany, held the XWX Women's Championship. Just finished up a nice little European run. She's back in North America. Came to whoop some ass. And Janai Kai, Kick Demon, young talent, very, very much on the rise. One of the highest profiles in indie wrestling to me right now. Like, I've been enjoying her matches. Like that, the first one I was first able to see her wrestle in 2021, and I try to see her wrestle as often as possible. She kicks the shit out of people. She's absolute badass. You could tell because Ava Everett wanted absolutely no part of her for the whole match. Which was this was kind of like, you always have this like, how are we gonna get the triple threat match started? Because we have 3 people, and and yeah, it was pretty self-explanatory. Like Ava Everett was just like, fuck this, I don't want to wrestle Janai Kai. I'm out of here, and just was hanging out outside the ring. So Lexi, Nicole, and Janai Kai got to tear it up in there for a while. Had some fucking amazing sequences. Lexi's got a really, really great motor. She's very fun to watch. She hit a gnarly shotgun dropkick. And yeah, then we ended up getting a little chase around on the outside. Ava Everett ends up in there mixing it up with Alexia. She's really, really fun to watch. Like I like the interaction she has between herself and the person she's beaten on, herself and the crowd. Well, the crowd is fucking heckling her while she's whooping someone's ass. Very much Tony Deppin-ish to me, in that just talking shit the whole time. It was I really liked it. She's really, really mouthy. Also very, very gnarly tope suicida. And then yeah, there was like, oh man, there's some really cool like multi-person sequences towards the end of the match as we as we got ourselves closer to the finish. One of which there was a really wild double team. It was like, I can't remember someone was up for a powerbomb and someone came in for a doomsday device. I got to take better notes on who done what, but that's what happened, and it looked great. And then yeah, this double backstabber was just like, Janai was choking out Ava Everett. Alexia and Nicole comes in, backstabber. Janai kicks out. The clip ends, but Alexia actually, veteran, went over, tried to pin Ava Everett as well. She kicked out though. Janai ended up disposing of Alexia, and then kicked the shit out of Ava, got the win. But all 3 of these wrestlers did the damn thing. Very, very, very fun match to watch. I had a great time with it. Again, if it's like I skim through shows and only watch a couple matches, don't skim by this one. Stop and watch it. It's really damn good. Then we got Biff Busick versus Kevin Koo in the main event. Kevin Koo, one half of the C4 Wrestling Tag Team Champions, alongside Dominic Garrini. Violence is forever. I think they hold like 3 other tag titles as well, but they've got they're like Action Tag Champs, Black Label. I gotta write this shit down. I gotta take better notes. And then obviously, you know who Biff Busick is. You've heard his name quite often since he got released from WWE late in 2021. But yeah, this was on paper. You see Biff Busick and Kevin Koo. They're going to beat the shit out of each other. Biff Busick and Kevin Koo beat the shit out of each other. Can't say we're shocked, but I can't say it was a good match. Like you knew right away, hard hitting, street fight kind of feel. A lot of brawling, a lot of just dropping each other on their heads and necks. Got exactly that from 2 badasses. Early on, they spilled to the outside. Koo chopped the ring post, and then Biff started going to work on his hand, bending it all over the place, stomping on it. But Koo fought his way back into it, brought Door into the ring. Like he got Biff Busick down, and he was like, "Oh, Biff's not getting up. Okay." Immediately goes for a door, brings it back in, tries a backslide. Backslide, that backslide doesn't work. Fisherman's brainbuster through the door work though, but not for a 3 count. And Biff fought his way back in, went and got a door of his own, and he put Kevin Koo away with a big ass superplex through the door. I can't do the match justice by talking about it. Like go just watch it. Go watch the whole show. Go subscribe to IWTV. C4 Time and Tide. It's right there. Strongly recommend you put your eyes on it. It was a fucking good time. And yeah, so that was C4 Wrestling's Time and Tide. They do have their next show announced already. So C4 Wrestling has Friday the 13th. Big surprise coming here. It's on Friday, May 13th. Whoa. And that show is going to be featuring the return of Joey Janela to C4 Wrestling. He's wrestled there a couple times. He's going to be wrestling Viking. If you're not familiar with Viking, he doesn't wrestle very often. When he does, it's pretty fucking crazy. There's going to be doors. There's going to be chairs. There's going to be who knows what the fuck else. Joey Janela, little more unhinged lately, leaning into like a much meaner side. Viking and Joey Janela have wrestled each other once in singles in C4, and then also as two participants in a fatal 4-way. Their singles match is fucking just bonkers. Go and watch it. It's from 2016. I want to say 2016 or so. And then that 4-way match, the 4-way match ended up breaking down to about 5 minutes at the end of just Janela versus Viking. There was like a pyramid of chairs, apron spot, just really, really, really gnarly match. Definitely worth watching. They also have Viking. I read the wrong word. Junior Benito, who we talked about earlier, will be taking on Jeff Cobb. Jeff Cobb, tour of the Great White North. And then that was it that I had in my notes. But then in the last day, I haven't updated the notes on this show because I watched it early. But they've announced Violence is Forever is defending the C4 tag team titles. Against Kobe Durst and Holden Albright from earlier in the show. Defeated Lufisto and Matthew St. Chalk. And there was another match announced, and I feel really, 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 really stupid for not remembering it right now. But I'm going to tweet about it later anyway, because love C4. So now we're going to move on. And we're going to get through the other shows that I watched in the last week. Not going to go in as detailed on them. I'm just going to kind of let you know the results. We'll talk about a couple of matches that, particularly made me go, what? And who knows what else? First up, Wrestling Open. So I have, Wednesdays generally watch AEW. Friday night, lately I don't even watch Rampage. Friday night I've been watching indie shows, and I'll just watch a replay of Rampage in the morning now. Every Thursday, mandatory must-see TV for me. I do not miss Wrestling Open. I love this shit. It's from the White Eagle in Worcester, Mass. Shout out to all the people I watch that watch this thing with every week. There is a whole gaggle of us in a Discord chat together, and yeah, we're just in there popping off, having a good time, enjoying some amazing independent wrestling. This week they opened things up. They had Fancy Ryan Clancy beating Brett Ryan Gosselin. Little bit of a stable thing going on here, with the Stetson Ranch, Brett Ryan Gosselin, the New Jersey Cowboys, and falling out with Fancy Ryan Clancy, who Fancy Ryan Clancy was mentioned in a video regarding Wrestling Open by Alex Reynolds this week on Twitter. So I think Dark Order's Alex Reynolds is coming to Wrestling Open on Thursday this week. Who knows what he's got planned for Brett Ryan for Ryan Clancy? Hopefully it's something friendly. He needs a partner, 2v1 against the Stetson Ranch. We had Anastasia Morningstar defeating JC Storm. Very, very fun match. JC Storm, her music hits. My mood goes through the roof. I just want to fucking dance every time she walks to the ring. Then a tag team that we're going to talk a little bit more about later, but Miracle Generation defeating the Church of Greatness. We're talking about Miracle Generation later. Don't worry. Brother Greatness defeating CPA, another amazing match. Brother Greatness, very, very fun gimmick. You know, just passing around his collection plate. Ain't nobody putting shit in that plate. CPA, the most jacked and athletic accountant you'll ever meet in your life. You know, just, you see how ripped he is when he takes that shirt off? You see how, like, really, really tight that second shirt is, you know? Oh, what happened here? Shit, I clicked something. Oops. Next matchup, we had Anthony Green teaming with Encore to defeat Tony Vincita and Ray Jazz, or Ken Shamrock at home, as we sometimes call him in the Discord. No shade to Ray Jazz. We love you. You know, but you do be looking like him a little bit. And the sixth match on the show, this is, oh yeah, Alec Price defeating Anthony Henry to retain the Southern Underground Pro Bone Storm Championship. The Prize City OG, Alec Price, defeating Anthony Henry. So, like, first off, Anthony Henry is a fucking phenomenal wrestler. He is an excellent singles wrestler. I would not recommend skipping past many matches of his, any of them, actually. Let me walk that one back. What the fuck, Mike? But yeah, he's a fantastic singles wrestler. You know, he's got a trust. He's like, what do you say? He's a good hand. You can trust Anthony Henry in like big situations. Dynamite 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, Hook's first televised match. Anthony Henry is the guy that they're putting in there. They could have picked like a whole lot of people off that roster, but Anthony Henry, and I think that speaks volumes to the kind of worker Anthony Henry is. He's also a fantastic tag team wrestler. Great tag team, the Workhorsemen with JD Drake, another criminally underrated wrestler. But yeah, no, Henry is really solid technically, very athletic, strong, and taking on Alec Price, who is the ace of Wrestling Open, and every other fucking company that he walks into, it seems, if he's not when he shows up, he will be eventually. And yeah, that's a profile that is just, that stock is taking off. He is the Southern Underground Pro Bone Storm Champion, which is a very weird name for a title, but I fuck with it. He's the Limitless Wrestling Champion. He defeated Anthony Green for that. He's defended it against Ace Romero, against Bounty Keith. Defended it also last week against Rip Bison. We'll talk about that match later because that match fucking owned as well. But yeah, no, he's been on a really, really, really good run wrestling everyone everywhere. Like I said, Beyond Inertia had a fantastic match with Willow Nightingale. Blitzkrieg Pro, he wrestled Speedball Bailey in the main event. Had a killer match with Jack Cartwheel. Brian Keith for Limitless. Jordan Oliver at not Spring Break. What GCW show was that? Shit. Casey Navarro. Yeah, he's a huge fan favorite of the White Eagle. The place goes off the rails. Off the rails. There's like one particular redheaded lady. You can just hear her scream through the stream as soon as his music hits. She goes nuts. It's wild. Anthony Henry, though, this was probably the most adversity I've seen Alec Price have to face at Wrestling Open in a while. Henry had him on the ropes for a lot of the match, like a concerning amount of time almost. But yeah, no, like he had really strong offense. There were a couple of near falls that like really, really sold me. Price obviously gets the win, retains his Bone Storm Championship. Bone Storm. Price has this like really infectious, frenetic energy as soon as he walks through the curtain in the ring, but as soon as he walks through the curtain, like 110% effort at all times. He's incredibly fun to watch. There's a reason for all the success he's having, and it's the work and effort that he puts in, and it translates every time you watch him. After this, we had world-class Channing Thomas defeating Ichiban Ichiban number 1 by count out. We're not going to talk too much about this match. Ichiban, you're going to get him. You're going to get him, Ichiban. Ichiban should have this one. He was getting counted out. Sydney Bakabella, slimy man, you stepped in the way of Ichiban, preventing him from getting back to the ring. So Ichiban got counted out. Then we had Shook Crew reuniting. Bobby Orlando, Bryce Donovan, and Platinum Max Caster coming back home to Wrestling Open to take on Brick and Mortar, the Brick City Boys and Mortar. Stipulation for this match: Shook Crew loses, no more Shook Crew. Or at least at Wrestling Open. I'm sure they'll show up other places around the Northeast. Come on now. If, Shook Crew wins, Bobby Orlando gets a singles match against Mortar. So, just a good time. Max Caster reuniting with his Shook Crew homies. Obviously everybody in the building wants to see Max Caster, Bryce Donovan, Bobby Orlando, aka Mom, take home the W here. They got Bobby Jr. in the corner, the young GOAT. He's the GOATest manager of all time. They had a really fun, it was a really fun match. Bryce Donovan is fucking good for you, Bryce Donovan, because that man had a collapsed lung a couple months ago, and you cannot tell, except for the fact that he has a little scar on his ribs here, that obviously everyone's working that for the foreseeable future. That's like the go-to. If you're wrestling Bryce Donovan, you're going to probably fuck with his ribs a lot now. But it was a really, really, really fun match. Bobby Jr., like I said, GOATest manager of all time. And then, we had Mortar getting cocky at the end of the match. He was alone in the ring. Shook Crew circled him in. And then when Brick City Boys ran in to help him, he actually bailed on them and left them to get picked apart by the Shook Crew, leading to the victory. And Bobby Orlando and Bobby Jr., they'll be seeing Mortar on Thursday of this week, so 2 days from now, at Wrestling Open. Apparently there's a bit of stipulation in that one. I don't know when it is, but I'll find out because I'm going to watch it. I do this shit every Thursday. Watch Wrestling Open Thursday on IWTV, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Next, VXS, Lucid Dreams 2. It's part 2. There's a part 1. I haven't seen it. So this one, I didn't have replay access to it. I basically had like a one-time chance to see this thing live. So I got what notes I could. I did miss some of it. Real life interfered and I had to get up, but got all the results. And we started off the show. We had a 10 bell salute to George Rosario, which is a very, respectful way opening the show. And then, first thing I noticed, we have Veda Scott and MLJ on commentary. 2 great commentators, both very, 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 very entertaining. Interesting dynamic. I was excited to kind of hear how that would play out. I always get excited when I see Veda on a show because I know the commentary is going to be good. Emil, same, for different reasons. He just is entertaining as fuck. Also, one of the best ring announcers out there. Shouts to him. First match we had, Nick Wayne defeating Alec Price. You just heard me go in on how much I love Alec Price, so I'm not gonna just repeat myself there. This was a good match though. Nick Wayne, obviously, 16 years old and already, just like you know who he is. We all know who Nick Wayne is. He's everywhere. Every indie on the planet is booking him. He's signed with AEW already. I would have to imagine they're only like is a developmental deal. I don't even know what you call it. It's like a promissory contract of like, hey man, as soon as you graduate high school, you can come be a wrestler on TV, which is the gist of it, I guess. But yeah, that's just wow. And, you wonder like, oh, well, he's 16. How good can he really be? He's that fucking good. Like that fucking good. Like future of professional wrestling good. He's going to be the name coming out of everybody's mouth whenever they talk about, whoever their favorite guy is on TV. And it's not even going to be that many years away from now. He's 16 and he looks this good. Like, holy fucking shit. And like match-wise, obviously him and Alec Price put on a fucking great match. Unfortunately, there was some like commentary issues during the match, so there was like a lot of like audio popping and stuff. And I ended up taking my headphones off. It kind of like took me out of it a little bit just from the static popping. But match-wise, like go back and get your eyes on it. It was really good. It was a little bit of a feeling out process in the beginning, but like once they turned it on, they went for it, and it was a good time. Next match in, we had Yoya defeating Gabriel Sky, Jackson Drake in a triple threat. This was insane. Bit of a new look and attitude for Yoya as well. He came to the ring hobbling. He was like favoring his leg already. And we didn't see much of him for the beginning of the match, but Jackson Drake hit a crazy 450 to the outside. A lot of like Drake versus Sky early on, and Yoya just selling his ankle. Then like towards the end of the match, they were towards the end of the match, that Yoya is laying in the corner looking like he's gonna call it, and Drake goes over to help him, and fucking Yoya just blasted him in the nuts. Like everyone thought the match was about to get called off. And then, Yoya wins with a sneaky low blow, playing possum with an ankle injury. We go on to Reed Walker defeating Robert Martyr. Amazing match. Reed Walker is coming out of H2O. Robert Martyr, another really, really, really good-ass wrestler that's on his way up right now. Walker actually won this one. If you have access to a replay of this one, go back and watch it. It was a really good match. Really loved the finish though. Walker just hit Martyr with a schoolboy roll up and bridged himself over the legs, and it was just looked cool as hell. Also, normally don't see that one score a pin, so I like, everyone's like, oh, roll up, but if you do them sparingly and well, it's really good. There's nothing wrong with a roll up. Let's leave roll ups alone. Next match, I need to drink water before I talk about it. Speedball Mike Bailey defeats Arez. Holy shit. Holy shit. So Arez, regular on the North American Indies. Turns out good matches everywhere. The King of Strange style. Very unique, very strange, weird offense. And then Speedball Mike Bailey. And do I need to explain who Speedball Mike Bailey is? You're watching an indie wrestling podcast. I would assume you know something about indie wrestling. If you don't, Speedball Mike Bailey is the best independent wrestler on the planet in my mind right now. He will show up at your show. He will wrestle anyone you put in front of him. Doesn't matter how big they are, how fast they are, what their style is. He proved it this weekend. He will go out there and have a fucking 5-star, 10 bell, whatever, I don't know, rating system, 10 Maple Leaf out of 10, whatever. It's going to be arguably the best match on your card, no matter what position of the card it's in. Him being able to come back into the US and wrestle it's a blessing. And this match was something that I was really interested in, because I didn't it's like I just said, I know that if I'm watching Speedball Mike Bailey wrestle anyone, I'm probably already going to see a very good match. So I knew I was going to watch one. And I've seen Arez wrestle enough times to know it's definitely going to be a weird mix of styles. And that is what made this match so just so perfect. You had Arez keeping pace with Speedball, almost being faster than Speedball, which obviously, if you're Mike Bailey, this is surprising to you. And like that, they kind of played off of that, where they were just trying to keep up with each other, and like who's going to be able to do something faster than the other guy in order to catch them off guard. Arez, just the weirdest moveset. Like he's doing this like strange spider crawl along the ropes. You had Speedball ends up winning the match. He hits Ultimate Weapon as Arez is in the corner on his back, kipping up. So like as he's in the like peak of his kip up, Speedball's knees come down on his chest. It was fucking devastating looking. Like it looked like I just watched a human being deflate in front of me. It just wild match. And yeah, again, like what made it so special is that like Speedball has a very distinct, very unique, very much his own style, and Arez has again like a very innovative and unique personal style. So to see the way that they're, you know, one of one brands of wrestling mixed with each other was like, it's a one of one match. You're not going to see two guys go out there and be able to recreate this match. You know, like it's watch it. This match, like that match alone is worth the replay. And then you had Masha Slamovich beating Marcus Mathers in a pure rules match right after this. It was kind of interesting seeing this under a pure rules match, but you know, again, it's a credit to the versatility of both of them. And you know, wrestling's fun. So like, who gives a fuck if it's a pure rules match? Let's just enjoy that. You know, let's enjoy the match. Let's enjoy the match. It was a good match. You know, they basically burned each other out of rope breaks, and then yeah, you had Masha winning by submission. Right after that, Tony Deppen defeating AJ Gray. Happy fucking birthday, Tony Deppen. Today, not when the show happened, but today. It's Tuesday, May 3rd, and that's Tony Deppen's birthday. Happy birthday. I got to interview Tony a few months ago, and it's one of my first interviews I've ever done. And yeah, he is very, very nice dude. Very, very, very good wrestler. Criminally underrated. Homicide said it best. The most underrated guy out there. To me personally, if I could like go make a list of like 5 people that I would be putting on my television, Tony Deppen would be in the top 2 of that list for me. Probably on the top of that list. Like I love me some Tony Deppen, and he beat AJ Gray. This is a good match. I didn't get to watch most of it, and I'm pissed. But yeah, that's because this was on a Friday night, and I had, you know, some like household things going on too, so I didn't get to give it all my attention. Didn't have access to a replay, sadly. It was a very good match. Joey Janela beating Drago Kid right after that as well. Then we went into a modern warfare rules match of Jordan Oliver versus Jimmy Lloyd. Jordan Oliver gets the win over Jimmy Lloyd here. If you haven't seen the GIF of it already, yeah, flaming table spot. I don't need to say more about that. You know what you know what kind of match you're going to see out of this. So VXS, they are on Fight TV for the most part. Well, every show so far I've seen. Their next show they've announced during this one. So it'll be Thursday, May 26th at 9 p.m. So Thursday. 9 p.m. Eastern is what I understand here. You know, please correct me if I'm wrong. The show's called Better Off Dying, and it'll be featuring the debut of Drew Parker, Deathmatch God, Drew Parker. And that'll be in Vegas. There's no streaming info for it yet. It's probably on Fight. That seems to be their usual. So look out for that. Next show, and run through it real quick. Invictus in Bloom 2. Show opened off Milk Chocolate, which is Brandon Watson, Randy Summers, defeat the Kings of the District, Eel O'Neill and Jordan Blade. Eel O'Neill, talked about him having a nice 4-way dance at C4 earlier in the week. Jordan Blade, we're going to talk about her later. Fucking great match. Milk Chocolate gets the win to retain the Invictus tag titles. Next, we had CPA defeating Miles Millennium. CPA, again, I love CPA. It's my favorite accountant. You know, I took it. I was an accounting student at one point in time, and I don't know if that's why I like CPA, but I watched this one with some friends who are not familiar with him. So I had them popping at the removal of shirts only for there to be multiple other shirts under the shirts. And then also his 619 that arguably rivals Rey Mysterio's on, even his best day. After this match, we had Edith Surreal defeating Davienne to retain the Invictus women's title. Fucking go watch that match. Amazing match. Love Edith Surreal. Love Davienne. They did the damn thing. Edith Surreal's got a very, very fun moveset. Very unique and strange. Davienne kicks ass. Next match after that, we had Ben Bishop defeating Big Game Leroy. And then after that, Vinny Pacifico, unfortunately, could not get the job done against Ray Jazz. He lost to Ray Jazz. Ken Shamrock at home. Again, I'm kidding. I love you, Ray Jazz. Please don't hurt me. Jersey legend. Robert Martyr defeating Travis Huckabee in a Pure Rules match. Again, another Pure Rules match. Why was it there? Who knows? Do we care? No. Pure Rules, still fun. As long as they're not like overly confusing, then, keep them simple. After this match, we have Darius Carter defeating Alex Kane. And then crazy ladder match. Not going to go too deep on it because we still have a lot to get through. But we have PJ Savage defeating Mike Skyros, PB Smooth, The Whisper, Anthony Gamble, Ichiban #1, except in this match, and Jay Bougie in the Climb for Clout ladder match. It was a multi-man ladder match. So 1, multi-man match. I love these. Already insane amounts of multi-person spots happening in this thing. 2, ladder match. So these multi-person spots are now involving ridiculously high-risk things because there's a ladder involved. And there be some doors happening around here too. That's all I'm going to say. I don't want to spoil too much. Go watch it. It's on IWTV. You can watch the replay. Their next show, Friday, May 20th in New Jersey. I couldn't find too much on it so far, but one night only. It's featuring TakeOver versus Shane Taylor Promotions in a series of matches, but no streaming info could be found yet. So whether it's live or through replay, I would imagine it's on IWTV. If not, just check out Invictus Pro's socials. I'm sure you'll find something. I fucked up. I had a graphic for Invictus. I'm sorry, Invictus. I forgot. Next show, you probably already saw it. GCW, In Too Deep. I'm using the proper graphic because I don't want to disappoint Giancarlo. Match 1. We got a scramble match. I love scrambles. I love GCW scrambles because I know who's in them. Like every time I can always count on like some combination of Jimmy Lloyd, ASF, Dante Leone, Gringo Loco. All 4 of those guys were in this one. All 4. This was fantastic. The only thing missing, honestly, we're like a Ninja Mac away from perfection here. And Nick Wayne. But there's a reason Nick Wayne wasn't in this match. We had Gringo Loco defeating Jimmy Lloyd, ASF, Shane Mercer. Shane Mercer is so fucking scary. Axton Ray, who really made a first impression on me this weekend. Drago Kid and Dante Leone. First of all, Shane Mercer, fucking freak of nature. Absolute monster human being. Dante Leone, the End Seeker. I love Dante Leone. My tie-dyed, tie-dyed nut job. Drago Kid, again, like he had another match on this weekend that I will speak more on. Jimmy Lloyd, one of the pillars of GCW in my opinion. At least definitely the gatekeeper to GCW, along with Tony Depp. And I feel like if you're If you're coming to GCW, you've never been there before, Jimmy Lloyd or Tony Deppen are going to kind of determine whether you belong there or not. ASF, again, one of the best young luchadors in professional wrestling to me. He's all over the place, high flyer, absolute daredevil. Very, very, very humble and very kind human as well. Had a very pleasant interview with him. Gringo Loco winning the match. GCW mainstay. The base god. Yeah, this was it's a fucking amazing match. Again, it's a scramble match. They jumped off of everything onto each other. There was like 5,000 dives. This is all that like, oh, there's too much flip shit. Yeah, and you know what? It's really, really good. Those matches are awesome. Shut up. Second match, Jordan Oliver defeated Masha Slamovich. What? Yeah, I honestly, I thought Masha was gonna take the dub here, but Jordan pulled it out. Then we had Alex Zane defeating ACH. Another really, really good match. Alex Zane, the Sauce God. Congratulations on being part of the Best of Super Junior this year. Very, very cool. Again, one of those WWE releases from, where it was like, oh, why would they release that guy? That's crazy. And then he goes and he's destroying it all over the independents. Fantastic match with Swerve at Ring of Honor as well. Now he's going to New Japan for Best of Super Junior. The influx of talent into the independents through these things, it just leads to amazing shows, amazing matches, and now look, the opportunities as well for these guys. After this, we had SGC, Mance Warner, Matt Justice, AJ Gray defeating Bussy with Grim Reaper. I thought it was going to be just a tag match. I didn't actually know. I didn't know the card in advance on this one in full. So I thought we were just getting SGC like Matt Justice and Mance Warner against Bussy for the tag titles. AJ Gray comes out, Grim Reaper comes out, and we got a really, really good 6-man tag out of it. And then that led right into Blake Christian defeating Biff Busick in a holy fuck, you got to watch this match. And then that gets followed up with Speedball against Joey Janela and Speedball defeating Joey Janela. And you've already seen the gif by now of Speedball double fucking moonsault double knees that man through a table, right? We've all seen it. I don't have the gif here, so I'm hoping we've all seen it. I probably retweeted it. It's everywhere. Just if you Google those two names together, you'll find it. Match of the year contender. Fucking watch this match. They beat the shit out of each other. It was so also Speedball's knees, the amount of times this man will moonsault double knee a mat or onto someone else's knees. Shit, it probably doesn't feel good landing on a person, even if they don't move out of the way. Thank you, Speedball. We appreciate your very unique brand of violence. And then we had this show got closed out by 3 death matches, and they were all qualification matches for Tournament of Survival. I'm going to say it right now. Tournament of Survival is the first weekend of June. I think it's on Saturday the 3rd or Sunday whatever the Saturday is when TOS is. I'm going to most likely the Tuesday after that. I probably just doing the whole episode is just going to be on TOS weekend. And, if it happens to only be a couple shows, I think it'll just be a deathmatch specific special episode. I do want to do a little bit of that. I'd like to have, some weeks where we focus on specific genres or styles of wrestling. Deathmatch being one that I'm particularly fond of. It's really, really, really grown on me over the last 18 months. I I don't know. Part of it, I feel like, I don't know. It doesn't bother me. I don't know. I don't know what the big deal is. But again, like, I guess like it's a preference thing for a lot of people. Some people don't like to watch some stuff. Some people do. I get it. Like we all have our things that we like. But we're not going to shit on stuff here, and we're going to also like embrace it. So I'm letting you all know now. There's going to definitely be like a deathmatch specific episode happening in a few weeks. And yeah, to get us prepared for that, we had Hoodfoot defeating Akira to qualify for tournament survival. So like fucking woo. Akira had a fucking fantastic weekend. First of all, this match against Hoodfoot was great. They were chopping each other's chests. They had gusset plates on their hands and just they were bleeding all over the place within minutes. And Hoodfoot, another dude who's just like kind of come out of nowhere to really like, he's very, very popular at the moment, especially around the death matches. And yeah, he just beats ass. Like he's fucking, he looks like he's not hurting people because he's working a lot of matches. And if he was hurting people, he wouldn't be working those matches. But he looks like he's hurting a lot of people. And this was a good one for that. We had Slade defeat Sawyer Wreck after this in a really, really intense match. Like they were beating the shit out of each other. Shout out Sawyer Wreck's I Hope Your Abuser Dies shirt. I fucking love that. Also, yeah, shout out Sawyer Wreck for not being afraid of Slade, because like you might be the only person that's not afraid of Slade. Oh my god. Yeah, they were just busting tubes all over each other. There was a board with some halved Pepsi cans that ended up seeing Sawyer get chokeslammed onto, as well as a couple of chairs. Sawyer got a lot of shots in on Slade, but unfortunately wasn't enough. And Slade did pick up the victory. And then a GCW Ultraviolent title match right after that, we had John Wayne Murdoch defeating Cole Radrick. So John Wayne Murdoch qualifies for Tournament of Survival by defeating Cole Radrick. Although John Wayne Murdoch was so fucking impressed, as we all are, every time we see Cole Radrick in the ring, by Cole Radrick's heart and his guts and his willingness to go toe-to-toe with the Ultraviolent champion. And he did offer his spot in Tournament of Survival to Cole. Cole accepted. Cole Radrick is going to Tournament of Survival this year. Can't fucking wait to see that. Ratty Daddy is he's that. It's Ratty Daddy. Next show, we have JCW Mayflowers. Charlie Tiger and Ellis Taylor opened things off, defeating Jimmy Lloyd and Reed Walker. Really fun match. Young, Dumb, and Broke, Charlie Tiger and Ellis Taylor. They've been wrestling tag together a long time. They have great chemistry. They made a lot of progress in the ring over the last few months. They bullied Walker around until Jimmy came in and cleaned house. Walker himself also very athletic and has some really, really, really cool offense. But Young, Dumb, and Broke picked up the win here with a very wild double team finisher. Then we had one called Manders defeating frontman Jaw in the second match. After this, that's C4. One called Manders is wrestling Myung Jae Lee Friday, May 13th. I knew I'd remember it. One called Manders is coming to Canada. Hey. So match 3, Too Hot Steve Scott defeats Azriel and Grim Reaper in a triple threat. I loved this match. I had a really, really fun time with it. Grim Reaper, I have some similar interests, we'll say. So I always pop watching this man fly all over a ring with a joint sticking out of his mouth, never dropping it, seemingly puffing on it in the middle of moves. A lot of really fun, creative ways to incorporate that into the match. Always happens. Steve Scott also has some Very innovative and fun offense. And he picks up the win. JCW, by the way, you can find them free on YouTube. They're on Game Changer Wrestling's YouTube channel. I think like all their shows are free on there. So you can go back and watch this whole show for free. I would do it. It's very fucking good. Hoodfoot defeating Yoya next. Hoodfoot the night before qualifies for TOS. Yoya, it's a big dude versus little dude matchup. So Yoya did the smart thing, starts chopping away at the knees. He's got really, Yoya has a very, very creative and unique moveset. Like a very straight, like his strikes are, great, but like the stuff he's doing when he's just climbing all over people is really, really impressive. And I love watching him wrestle dudes that are bigger than him, because obviously, like, the natural thing happens where like the little dude gets tossed around by the big guy, but the creative ways he finds to like climb around people and like take them down in like non-traditional fashion is very I appreciate it. It's creative and it's refreshing. I like it. I love Yoya. And Yoya came out of the corner. Hoodfoot went up on the second rope. Yoya powerbombed him out of the corner. Wasn't enough though. Hoodfoot did put him away. And then we had Marcus Mathers defeating Axton Ray. Probably the best match on the card. To me personally, this was first time I've seen Axton Ray. Bajillionth time I've watched Marcus Mathers. I love the kid. I think he's fucking amazing. Yeah, like that whole H2O group is just they're really doing it. Marcus obviously breaking out, especially Axton Ray again. Like this is my first time seeing him. It was GCW the night before, and then this JCW show the next day. And he really, really, really made an awesome first impression on me. Like his really impressive moves. He's very athletic. He's a big dude, but like so deceptively agile. It's like scary. I couldn't find any information on how old he is. I'm curious to know because he doesn't look like he's that old at all. Mathers was like on his back. He had just draped across him like a backpack basically. And Axton popped him up into like vertical suplex and fucking brainbustered him. And that just right there, I'm like, my jaw hit the floor. I couldn't get over the whole match, his agility as a bigger guy. And they put together a very, very entertaining match, which led into Brandon Kirk defeating Big Vin. And then we went into Alec Price again. So that's 3. That's 3 in 3 days now. Defeating Dylan McKay. McKay, former tag partner of Marcus Mathers, actually. They had a really, they had a good match. Alec Price is less popular in JCW than he is at Wrestling Open, we'll say that. But he's definitely winning people over there. It's obvious why. Like he's gonna probably be one of the biggest things in that area soon too. I'd hope. McKay had a very, very nice Spanish fly that he caught Alec Price with after his boots, and the one more because he's trash. Love that shit. And then Price did finish him off with a Gotch style buckle bomb. Like got him up for a Gotch style power bomb, and he buckle bombed Dylan McKay, and then hit him with a surprise kick to finish off. And that buckle bomb was brutal looking. And then Bam Sullivan defeating Charles Mason after that. And then, JCW. So their next show, they're going to have Fully Loaded. That'll be on Sunday, June 5th at 1 p.m. Eastern. And that's TOS weekend. So usually when GCW does the Atlantic City weekend, we get GCW on the Saturday night at the Showboat. We get a JCW matinee on Sunday and a GCW show again on Sunday night. We're going to get to that second GCW show coming up, but First, I talk about Black Label Pro Fancy Wrestling, as I like to call this show, Black Label Pro Tag Team fucking Wrestling. Everything on this show was good, but like, man, the tag matches they had going on here were like, whoo, primo. So we opened up with Anthony Green defeating Myron Reed. Shazza McKenzie on tour right now, hanging out in the United States of America, maybe some Canada. I don't know. I got to find out if she's doing some Canada. But Shazza defeating Alice Crowley. Third match, Big Boy Bash. Big Damo defeating Crash Jackson. That was that was some big meaty men slapping meat, most certainly. Match 4, Billy Starks, aka Young Billiam, defeating Dan the Dad. Again, Billy Starks is one of the best things happening in indie wrestling right now, like in terms of promise for the future. Like, and still killing it right now is the crazy thing. Like, I don't know what it is with all these like teenage wrestlers that are, you know, they can't even buy like lottery tickets and they're fucking just going out there and having banger matches all the time. It's really cool to see though. And yeah, again, it's like, oh man, they're this good now. Like, oh my God, stay the course and own the business in a few years. Like literally. Match 5, Bang Bros, Davey Bang and August Matthews defeating Miracle Generation. So this is why I said I'd wait to talk about Miracle Generation until later, because this match fucking owned. Dustin Flash Waller, Kylon King, the Young King. Fantastic match. Miracle Generation, obviously, like I see them quite often watching Wrestling Open. I'm not shocked at how excellent of a team they are. Very interesting, unique double team moves as that they've been teaming together for a long time. So obviously, like, they've worked on some shit. They've got some cool stuff that they've come up with together. Dustin Waller is like, he's got those like spring-loaded shins that wrestlers seem to come with nowadays, where they're like, he did it in this match. He jumped off the top rope to the outside, and he must have got like cleared an easy several feet above the top rope. And I'm just watching him like come in like Spider-Man from out of frame down onto these people, like just with my jaw hanging on the floor. And that's like no slight to Bang Bros either, though, because they like, I'm less familiar with them and they fucking blew me away in this match. I've seen a couple of their prior matches, just kind of skimming through the good matches on some shows before, and yeah, they had like in this one they had a series of going back and forth in and out in the corner, and like finished up with like one of them ran in for a shoulder tackle, and the other guy ran up, step up in Zagiri up his partner's back onto I think it was Kylon King in the corner. Yeah, just an amazing match. So much double team insanity, especially near the end. Miracle Generation got they had like, it was like a power slam. Kylon had one of the Bang Bros up for a power slam, and he tossed him to Waller for a power bomb. It just looked crazy. Only got the 2 count though. Bang Bros finished him off. Then after that, we had Filthy Tom Lawler defeating Davey Richards to retain the Black Label Pro Midwest Championship. Filthy Tom, so this was Sunday afternoon. He wrestled John Moxley on Friday night or Saturday night. I think it was Friday night at Defy, and was literally like actively like squirting blood out of his forehead during that Moxley match. So no surprise that those wounds took all of like 2 minutes to reopen, and Lawler was just covered in blood. Very, very hard-hitting, strong style match. Great finish though. Davey had Lawler up for a superplex, came down. Lawler rolled him up into a cradle. Davey rolled the cradle to try to pin Lawler. Lawler kicked but rolled the cradle back and pinned Davey. Really nice. Again, I like them not doing the whole like tumbleweed roll around the ring with it, and they just kind of like use it as a finish. Seen it a couple times now. It's very fun when it happens. Ace Austin defeating Devin Monroe to retain the Impact Wrestling X Division title. Not shocked that the X Division title didn't change hands on a not Impact show. So but it was a good match anyway. Like obviously predictable result, but Monroe had an impressive outing against Ace Austin. Josh Alexander defeating Cody Lane. Again, what are the odds that the Impact World, like it was a non-title match anyway, but still, like, what are the odds that Impact's World Champion is getting pinned on this Black Label show? Unless it's like, another, it's Cody Lane's good, but it's not going to be Cody Lane. But they still like allowed me to enjoy the match. It was a competitive match, and Cody actually, was like hurting Josh Alexander and laying in some good offense on him. So, and in that regard, what he was able to do did look great. Josh Alexander, though, finish him with a C4 spike. Love it. Match 9, we had Violence is Forever, which is Dominic Garrini and Kevin Koo defeating Main Event, Ringleader Midas and Jay Lyon. Another amazing, amazing match. I loved this. Like, great tag matches on this show. Both the tag matches were awesome, man. Awesome. It was a really fast start. Like, Main Event kind of, got things going right out of the gate. A lot of big double team moves. Did the, they have the circus gimmick. So they did the tope suicida through the ring, diving through the hoop. But, Violence is Forever did their thing, isolated Midas and beat him down, really smacking him around, just dropping him on it, dropping him on his back, dropping him on his head. Lion, there was one attempted submission that really stuck out. Lion had Koo in a rear naked choke, and Garrini F5'd Midas onto them, which broke the hold up. That was pretty crazy. And then Violence is Forever does win with they hit Chasing the Dragon. They're 1, 2, 3. And finally, PCO defeating Levi Everett, Josh Bishop, Kobe Durst to win the Black Label Pro Championship. Again, multi-man match. It's PCO in it. You already know. Cannonball Sentons off the apron. All sorts of dumb, just like, I can't believe you're your age and doing these things kind of things. No regard for PCO's body. And that's how he wins. He just throws himself at you until he beats you. So their next show, they have Friday, May 27th at 11 p.m. Eastern. I believe it's Eastern. Correct me if I'm wrong. And that is for Always Bet on Black Label Pro at the Future Stars of Wrestling Weekend Collective. That's going to be with GCW and Wrestling Revolver. Presumably it's going to be like one of those package streaming deals on Fight. So yeah, Black Label Pro, GCW, and Wrestling Revolver, along with Future Stars of Wrestling at Collective Weekend. They're doing a collective for All Out. All right, next show. WWR Plus, Hit 'em Up Style. This was, so this was an all-female show. Fantastic matches. This was at FET, I believe. I'm 99.9% positive it was FET. Again, really good show. First match, we had Ashley D'Amboise defeating Little Mean Kathleen, LMK, all fucking day. Except on Sunday, Ashley D'Amboise beat her. Second match, Trish Adora defeating Tina San Antonio. I'm tripping over my words. I need to drink more water. Trish Adora, we just saw her on Rampage last week as well. Very, 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 very talented wrestler. Very strong, very athletic. I love watching her matches. One thing in particular I'll call to for this match that I was just like, oh shit. Tina was just laying in the corner. Trish grabs her legs and just yoinked her like halfway across the ring. It was impressive. And also someone with a back injury. It hurt me to watch. Then we had the outfielders, Shane McCoy and Weber Hatfield, defeat the administration. Yeah, the administration. Antonio Zambrano and Damian Adams. Then we went into Tiara James defeating JC Storm. Again, when JC Storm's music hit, did I get up and dance? Yes. Alicia Edwards defeating Kayla Sparks. We had Artsy Fartsy, which is the team of Edith Surreal and Erica Lee, defeating the Hardcore Nerds, Kennedy Copeland and Riley Shepard, in another great tag match. There's a lot of good tag team wrestling happening. Wouldn't say just last week, actually. It just happens all the time. Tag team wrestling's fucking awesome if you do it right and you book it properly and you actually like book real tag teams to wrestle real tag teams. The seventh match on the show, we had Jody Threat defeating Davien. Again, good fucking match. Fantastic wrestlers. Very experienced wrestlers. And they had a great match with each other. The match I do want to talk about most off of the show, though, is our main event, Willow Nightingale defeating Jordan Blade. We all know who Willow is now. You know, she's got a very, very, very good 2022 going for herself so far. Looks, you know, if I had to make my prediction, I would say by the end of 2022, Willow Nightingale is going to be wearing a Ring of Honor world title. I think she is the future Ring of Honor Women's Champion. The sooner that happens, I think the better. It'd be really cool. Honestly, I thought that it would be her this week that we'd be seeing on Dynamite. I really wanted to see her take that interim title from Mercedes, because then you could have done the Deonna versus Willow. You get a natural heel, natural baby face. Very easy fucking dynamic. Very easy match to make there. But anyway, either way, Willow is incredible. So charismatic, so funny, so powerful. And if you want to talk about powerful, let's talk about Jordan Blade as well. She's very, very solid fundamental, like solid wrestling fundamentals, grappling, striking, will beat your ass. And that was what was so exciting to me about this, is because Willow normally doesn't get like matched up strength wise. I haven't seen a lot of Willow matches, especially, no, she wrestled Alec Price a couple weeks ago, and he obviously kept up with her. But like, typically we're not seeing Willow get like out muscled by people. So Jordan Blade was really, really capable of doing that. Willow tried to hit Jordan with a pounce. Jordan countered with a flying knee. That shit looked ridiculous. Super awesome. Very brutal. And Willow was actually fighting from behind a lot in this match, which, again, like, I'm used to seeing Willow being able to muscle people around. So seeing her like getting out muscled by someone felt really, it was a nice, refreshing dynamic. Willow did make her comeback though, hit the Babe Bomb. That shit is gnarly too. And yeah, I guess the 1, 2, 3. I couldn't find much information on their next show in terms of a card. I did find they have a scheduled stream on IWTV on Sunday, June 26th at 3 p.m. So I'm assuming that's probably it. I noticed they generally do every 2 months or almost 2 months kind of schedule. So that would fall in line. Definitely check that out. The last show we're going to talk about this week. I lied. It's the second last show. Oh my God. GCW Life Goes On. Show opened off. We had ASF defeating Alec Price. This was a first time matchup. It was a really good match. Lots of exciting sequences. There were some very, very cool reversals going on in this match. After that, we got right into Alex Zane versus Dante Leone. First of all, again, congrats, Alex Zane. Best of Super Junior tournament. This was another really fun match, like super innovative dudes, a lot of cool spots. They did this like They were up on top for a Spanish fly, but did like the sit down on the top rope and flip over for the Spanish fly. I don't know what you call it. I'm just a dude that talks on the internet. I'm not a wrestler, but it looked fucking cool. Dante hit a like really weird destroyer. It was like a Panama Sunrise, but he did a shooting star before the destroyer instead of just like a hop down. I don't know if that was intended to be something else and it just kind of looked a little weird on the camera. But yeah, either way, looked cool. No idea what it was. But like flippy dudes doing flippy shit, just let it happen, okay? We don't need like a Harvard grade thesis for the story of every match. Then Zayn gets the win. He reversed the shooting star cutter, hit a pump handle driver. And yeah, went straight into Bussy, defeating Akira and John Wayne Murdoch to retain the GCW tag titles. It's John Wayne Murdoch, not John Wayne Pussy. You can call him John Wayne Pussy. I didn't tell you to. Yeah, no, this was fun. There's like really nice opening sequence between Ali and Murdoch that started the match off. Really like, fun dynamic here of Effie and Akira, and then Murdoch being like, "Don't you kiss him?" and Effie ends up grabbing Murdoch for a kiss, and Effie kissed Akira, and then Akira bit Effie's tongue. He's just holding on to his tongue between his teeth. It was a good time. And this is the shit where I'm like, this is why I speak so highly of Akira, because he's not just like death match guy Akira. Okay, he's versatile, he's expressive, he's got charisma. You just like, he's adaptable. He adapts to, and I think that would be, I think, the way I'd like to refer to him: versatile and adaptable. Like you can put him in more than just a death match, and you will get more than just a death match out of Akira. He's a very good wrestler. He's got solid fundamentals, technically good, high flyer, risk taker. But again, he's got like personality and charisma, and like he's expressive, and you can do these fun things in a match with him. And then like shit, it was still a death match. Kinda. Like they were breaking light tubes on each other in this match. They're going through doors and shit. We ended up we did end up having Bussy win. They retained the tag titles. But yeah, that was a good fucking match. And we got a Tournament of Survival qualifier after that. Shane Mercer defeating Jimmy Lloyd. Every match now, it's just I see Shane Mercer come out to the ring, and I'm just like, okay, what weird feat of strength is he going to do in this match? He just like, he always finds a way to do something insanely acrobatic and insanely strong. Sometimes it's the same move. He does something acrobatic while doing something that only a really strong person can do. I feel like I haven't seen Shane Mercer around in a while. I'm not sure why, but I'd like to see more of him. So like, let's keep Shane Mercer around. Yeah, it was a good match. Like, Shane Mercer was whooping his ass and Jimmy just wasn't giving in. But Shane was not to be overcome, and he eventually defeated Jimmy Lloyd and qualified for TOS. And then we got the GCW Extreme Title Scramble match. So multi-man match. You already know I loved it. AJ Gray defeats Marcus Mathers, Axton Ray, Drago Kid, Gringo Loco, Cole Radrick, all to retain the GCW Extreme title. Everyone kind of just like fucked off and left Cole Radrick in there alone with AJ Gray to start things off. And yeah, AJ Gray showed Cole Radrick why he's the Extreme champion. Axton Ray got in there again, though. And again, very powerful, very agile, impressive in both scramble appearances this weekend and his singles match. 3 matches in a day and a half for all, actually, Mathers and Axton Ray, I think. But yeah, this was a fantastic one. Drago and Gringo Loco had an incredible lucha sequence in this match. Marcus Mathers, unfortunately, gift moment of him repeatedly chopping AJ Gray in the chest and realizing that he's about to get destroyed and just kind of and yeah, gets murdered But honestly, Marcus Mathers has all the to me, he has like all the trappings of what's going to be a future star again. Like he's already a star around the Indies, but like I see him being somebody that could so easily translate to like a like a TV wrestling. Quite, it's because you have the two. Although with the amount of pay-per-views and stuff, really, like, you got a lot of guys on these indie shows now. They're like suddenly having to play to a hard cam that, probably they're not used to being there several years ago. Cole Radrick is in the scramble match. Like he was covered head to toe in glass from the night before. So like props to him getting out there. Yeah, a great match. AJ Gray wins, diving leg drop, big ass hang time. Then we moved on. We had the SAT defeat Nick Wayne and Jordan Oliver in like two absolute legends, innovative tag team, one of the best teams of all time against two, like the future of the business, like Jordan Oliver and Nick Wayne. Jordan Oliver and Nick Wayne, GCW pillars. Sorry, I had to fix a little thing there. We got the pillars of GCW, so to speak. It was just amazing. There's a really cool dynamic. Like, obviously you have these young guys versus the veteran team. It's almost like it wasn't so much like, can the young guys beat the veterans, but it was more just like there felt like so much respect around the match between the two, and it showed at the end. SAT spoke very highly of them after the match. If there's like one spot I'm going to call out from the whole match, it's like everybody's Spanish Fly now. Like SAT had Nick Wayne hooked up and they were going to hit him with a double Spanish Fly. Jordan Oliver climbed up there, but he got himself hooked up on the end and ended up, the SAT hit a double Spanish Fly on both Oliver and Wayne. Crazy, incredible match. Watch that one. Joey Janela defeats Masha Slamovich. Like, another good one. This was just a slugfest, hard-hitting fight. Lots of strikes, lots of like heavy, stiff strikes. Just big, powerful moves. And then there's just a wild exchange kind of between the two, back and forth at the end, and Janela snuck in a sneaky little super kick for a win. The show ended with Brandon Kirk and Matt Tremont. Tremont defeated Brandon Kirk. And that will qualify Matt Tremont for Tournament of Survival. It's their third singles match. It was the rubber match. Both of them incredibly tough customers. There was a branding iron in this match. Like, I shit you not, there's a branding iron in this match. Like that. What? I really, really needed to hear Kevin Gill on commentary for this weekend, because there was some shit going on with these GCW shows that I would have loved to hear what he had to say. And hopefully we'll find out at their next... Jesus, excuse me. Hopefully we'll find out at their next show. It's Saturday, May 21st. There's GCW and LA Fights. And there's also GCW Maniac at the Ukrainian Cultural Center in Los Angeles. That will be obviously on Fight as usual, featuring Bandito versus Nick Wayne. That's a rescheduled match from Bandito having travel issues the one day. And then Joey Janela versus Drew Parker. Drew Parker is back in GCW. That's going to be a bloodbath. And we made it to the last show, finally. Limitless Wrestling, hard not to act reckless. I couldn't find a horizontal show graphic, so we're left with the Alec Price and Rip Bison graphic, which is fine because that's the match I'm going to go in the hardest on. I'm going to run through the card really quick because we're running low on time. But we had MSP, A Negro and Danger Kid, defeating Shook Crew, Bryce Donovan and Bobby Orlando, a.k.a. the Goatist, a.k.a. Mom. Brett Ryan Gosselin defeated Mortar, Desmond Cole, and Ryan Mooney in a four-way. Hammerstone beat Big Beef Gnarls Garvin
in a slugfest. Would definitely go back and watch that. You had Anthony Green, the alternative AG, defeating Channing Thomas with John Alba. Okay. I'm just kidding. We love John Alba. He's awesome. Brad Cashew defeating Gangrel by disqualification. Art was here. Aaron Rourke, Mickey Smokes defeating Waves and Curls, Jalen Brandon, and Trayvon Jordan. Trayvon Jordan, Jalen Brandon, every week wrestling open, making me real happy. This is cool to see them on this show. And then Art has a match, and right after that, Ava Everett is there. She's back, and she defeated Shannon Levangie. The match I want to talk about here is Alec Price defeating Rip Bison to retain the Limitless World title. Just a great match. Like, Alec Price saw him face more adversity this week than usual in his matches. Anthony Henry put a beating on him on Thursday. Friday, he did overcome Anthony Henry at Wrestling Open on Thursday. Friday, he unfortunately was on the losing side against Nick Wayne. Sunday, though, he's defending the Limitless Championship against Rip Bison, a bigger dude than him by quite a bit. He gave up a lot of size to Rip, so it was it was nice seeing him be at more of a clear physical disadvantage in the match. There was a really nice tornado DDT on the floor early on in the match that kind of got things going in Alex's favor, but Rip did overpower him eventually. Was beating him pretty good. Hit him with short arm clothesline. He's got a name for it. I'm bad. I didn't write it down. But I could not put Price away. Price did hit him with 2 surprise kicks. Had to hit him with 2. Rip Bison didn't stay down after that first one. So wouldn't mind seeing them again. Actually, that was a really cool match. But Alec Price, after the match, he wants the world. He called out everybody. He basically said, I've faced the best that Limitless has to give me. Give me everybody else. You think you're froggy? Hop on over. And I look forward to, honestly, whoever they put in front of Alec. It's going to be a good match. He's an excellent, excellent wrestler. There's a reason why he is the ace in so many places right now. I feel like everywhere he turns up, he's again, it's that speedball thing. He's going to show up and 110% effort and just turn out a great match. So yeah, that was it for that show. The next show, I actually couldn't find any details on when their next show is, but I'm sure they'll have an announcement. They're usually on IWTV, so just look out for them. And yeah, that is all we have for that. So those were all the shows I watched this week that I actually took decent enough notes to be able to talk about. It's a lot of wrestling to watch. I don't even think I'm getting through this many shows this week. In fact, you know what? I know I'm not. This is what we have coming up this week. We're doing Wrestling Open on Thursday. Action Wrestling Drawbreakers this weekend. Blitzkrieg Pro this weekend. We've got Alec Price taking on Ethan Page. That should be fucking fire. NPU and RPW Body Count Battle. And then the premiere next Monday of Uncharted Territory Season 4. There's going to be more thrown in here, but that was my quick glimpse of my schedule. And if I was picking 5 that I'm going to be really, really excited about, those are the 5 cards that I'm wee. I'm going to tell you right now, featured show next week, because of how much entertainment it has provided me over the last several months, the wonderful, wonderful friendships I have formed because of watching it, the just joy it's brought to my life. Next week's featured show, we're going to do Wrestling Open. It's a big show this week. A lot of cool matches. A lot of old but familiar faces are showing back up at the White Eagle this week, and I would, I want to give Wrestling Open the deep dive. They deserve it, honestly. So yeah, that's gonna be it for discussion on any shows I watched last week. Really, that's gonna be it for the show in general today. I didn't think I was gonna go on for this long. I'd like to be almost an hour faster than this. So I'm going to have to either watch less or shut the fuck up, but we'll figure it out for next week. Thank you if you tuned in live. Thank you so much for hanging out with me this afternoon. If you're even watching this at all, hearing it, if you've encountered this show in any way and given it your time and attention, I appreciate it very, very much. This is Indie, it's an independent podcast about independent wrestling. And I've done everything for this as independently as I can. Bodyslam has provided me a wonderful platform from which to stream this show on. But in terms of a concept, production, graphics, watching the shows, taking the notes, doing the research, finding out all these facts, I did this all myself over the last couple of weeks as I prepared for this episode. And it's going to be even more of a grind for me next week because it's already started. I don't have it's episode 2. I've got 7 days now, less than, because we're past 1 p.m. already. So I look forward to doing it again though. And, if you've donated any of your time to being here today, I just want to say how much I appreciate it. You can find me on the Bird app, this side, this one right here, at Mr. Purple TV. Sometimes I stream some games on Twitch. Mostly I just talk shit about wrestling on the internet right there. Do a little bit of writing for Bodyslam. Please follow all of Bodyslam's socials at BodyslamNet, YouTube, Instagram, Twitch, Twitter. We're just out here trying to bring some wrestling news and wrestling discussion to the world. Can never have enough of it. Okay, maybe, but you can never have enough of ours. There. Yeah. Ha. Boom. So yeah, again, thanks for tuning in. I will definitely be back here next week. Hopefully you will be too. Much love.